The Flannan Isles are an isolated group of islands in the far northwest of Scotland, also known as the Seven Hunters. On the largest of these islands sits the Flannan Isles Lighthouse, the site of one of Scotland's most puzzling unsolved mysteries. In 1900, 3 men charged with manning the lighthouse disappeared without a trace. They had arrived at the lighthouse in good spirits, ready to begin their shift. On arrival, they were accompanied by Robert Muirhead, the superintendent of lighthouses, who carried out basic checks with the 3 men. Finding everything as it should be, the men raised the issue of a strange mist that sometimes surrounded the island, making their job difficult. The mist carried an extra danger because the men wouldn't be able to signal for help should they need it. The lighthouse was monitored via telescope from the mainland, but when the mist rolled in, the island was hidden from view. The logs show that the lighthouse was monitored on the 7th and 12th of December. But on the 15th of December, a passing ship noted that the lighthouse beacon was not lit, as it should have been. The thick mist and bad weather meant that the men's replacements weren't able to reach the island until the 21st, many days after their shift should have ended. When their replacements finally arrived, they were expecting to see a raised flag to signify that the lighthouse keepers had spotted them and were about to deploy a rowboat. But no flag was present. The 3 men also didn't respond to attempts to contact them via siren. The lighthouse remained dark and silent. Eventually the ship was forced to launch its own landing craft containing 2 men. Upon reaching the island, one of those men, Joseph Moore, raced up the lighthouse in search of the missing men. He found the entrance locked, but fortunately had a key. Upon entering the lighthouse, there was no sign of life. There was no fire burning in the grate, and the cold ash suggested it had not seen one in a while. Strangely, a clock on the wall had stopped, and there was an uneaten meal laid out on the table, as if somebody had set it there, but vanished before they could take the first bite. Unable to discover any clues of the men's whereabouts, Joseph decided to remain with the 3 replacements on the island. During this time, they inspected the log records of the missing men. According to the logs, on the 14th of December, a huge storm swept over the island. The very last entry made in the log was dated from the afternoon of the 15th of December. A brief entry, it simply stated, "Storm ended, sea calm, God is over all." It was suggested that the 3 men must have been outside the lighthouse when a large wave swept them out to sea. However, this leaves us with a single unanswered question. If the men were suddenly swept out to sea by a large wave during the storm, then why was the last entry in the log added after the storm had passed, stating that the storm had ended and the sea was calm? The bodies of the men have never been found, so the answer to this question, like so many others, remains an unsolved Scottish mystery.